Hey everyone, welcome. As you may have seen, I did a video on the BenQ TK800M last year, January, I believe. Well, more than a year ago anyway. And that was a DLP projector and it replaced the Optima HD144X. The HD144X was for entertainment the first projector I got for myself. Years ago I got a Acer projector and it was a bad experience. So in 2019 I started with the Optima. I got it for a couple of months. It was making awful lot of noise. It was only full HD, but it was only a couple of $100. So then I got the TK800M, which was, I believe, 1,000 or 1,100 euros. And that projector was quite an improvement compared to the Optima. Of course, it was way more expensive than that. And well, 6 months ago, maybe give or take 6 months ago, I got myself this one. And this is the Epson TW7400. And it is huge compared to the TK800M. Massive. It weighs 11.2 kilograms. And this projector I got for 1,899 euros to be precise. So that's another step up financially. Yeah, and that's not all, because I wanted to mount it to the ceiling, and a bracket for that from Epson itself set me back for another 135 euros. So well over 2,000 euros is hanging on my ceiling right now. The Optima HD144X as well as the TK800M were both DLP projectors. So light is passing through a color wheel which is generating the image and the colors. So it messes with your mind. And if you pay close attention when watching a movie on such a projector, you can see the rainbow effect, which is called. You can see a trail of different colors, especially with subtitles. You can notice it, clearly. This projector, the TW7400, uses a 3 LCD. And that works in a way that the light is being projected onto mirrors, into the 3 LCD chips, into a prism, through the lens onto the projection screen. And the advantage of that is that the light doesn't have to pass through a color wheel, so you won't get any artifacts like rainbow effect. And I will put a link in the video description as well on how this technology exactly works. But in this video I'm going to cover the user experience of this projector. And of course at the end of this video I will give my conclusion on this projector so far, the things I have tested and the things that, well, I will test in the future maybe. You can drop a request in the comment section if you like. Let's start with the specifications of this projector. As I just mentioned, it uses the 3 LCD technology. It has a 10-bit color reproduction. It can display a 4K resolution through pixel shift, I must add. It can also display 96% of the DCI-P3 color space and a contrast ratio of 200,000 to 1. Lamp life is rated for 3,500 hours on a normal setting and 5,000 hours on the eco setting. It has a motorized zoom up to 2.1 and motorized lens shift. You can do it all with the remote control. As for the connections, it has 2 USB connections. One of them is a USB Type A 2.0 connection. This can also be used for powering devices like a Chromecast, and the other one is a USB mini connection, and that one is for service only. For service it also has a RS232C connection and a 12-volt trigger for a motorized projection screen. As for the inputs, it has a D-sub, a VGA connection, 2 times HDMI 2.0A, and one of them supports HDCP 2.2 with CEC, Consumer Electronic Control. An Ethernet interface, and that can be used with the iProjection app from Epson. I haven't tested that, by the way, but you can use the network connections for that if you want. Already mentioned it, but I will mention it again. This projector is colossal. It weighs 11.2 kilograms, 52 centimeters wide, 45 centimeters deep, 19.3 centimeters height. As for the noise level, on normal operation it will produce 31 decibels. And on energy savings, so the eco settings, it will produce 20 decibels. And I can say, on the eco setting, you will have a hard time hearing it. On normal operation, it is audible, but still way quieter than, for example, the TK800M I've tested last year. Power consumption, not that unimportant. On normal operation, it will consume 355 watts, and on eco settings, that is reduced to 271 watts. Yeah, it does use quite a lot more energy than, for example, a big TV. but the screen is also a lot bigger. Yeah, so with the specifications out of the way, let's head downstairs and let's have a look on the image quality of this projector. I will show some demos, run through the menus and such, and after that I will give you my conclusion. Even the controller of this projector is massive. Yeah, literally massive. I still use the same Optima projection screen. I will link it in the video description for you. Same goes with the clip speakers and the Denon receiver, which replaced my Sonos setup. I will put links of that in the video description. So let's power on this projector. The lens cover will open, the projector will power on, warm up the light, and then we will get an image onto our projection screen. I will record this with my camera, so it will not be the best quality, and I don't have a 4K camera, so yeah, this is basically it. And please bear in mind, as you can see, some daylight is coming through the projection screen. Normally I will only use this at night, with of course the lights out, and yeah, then you will get the best experience with this projector. Now, if you power on the projector without an input source, like the NVIDIA Shield you see there, then you are prompted with this screen, and you can select the inputs. For example, if you have a Chromecast connected to HDMI 2, you can select it there. You can also do some manual adjustments here, like a color mode. You can choose the color mode and the presets it has. The only drawback with this remote control is that you have to enable the backlit function manually, and it will only stay on for a couple of seconds. Can't have everything right. So you can choose the color mode there. You can do a 3D setup if you have some glasses for that. Power consumption, if we have a look at that. Now I have set this one to medium, because if I set it on eco, it will have a flickering in the image, just like the other projectors have. Now I have powered this projector on the ceiling where you normally would install a light. I thought that might be the reason that the image flickers, but also if I connect it to the wall outlet, I will have the same problems. So my guess is that it is related to the eco setting, on which it will dynamically adjust the light intensity. So I've set this to medium and the problems are over. Of course, it will make a little bit more noise than when you have set it on eco, but yeah, small price to pay when watching movies on a moderate volume. So then we have the LAN option here. Now I have not connected this projector to the Ethernet, to a LAN, nor do I have the wireless network adapter. So I have not tested this feature. This projector also has picture-in-picture function. It's a button on the remote control. Light. P in P, and you can display two sources on the screen at the same time. Could be quite handy. I'm not using that function at all. Same goes for the remote control. I'm only using the remote control of my NVIDIA Shield. And because it has CEC, you can use this control to control your NVIDIA Shield or other equipment, or you can do it the other way around. So if I power down the NVIDIA Shield, the projector also goes into standby. So if we have pressed the menu button, we are prompted with this menu. First thing, image. As you can see, I use it on Bright Cinema. You can choose from different presets, and of course you can add your own presets as well. If I set it to dynamic, it will change. It will also ramp up the fan speed, so it will make an awful lot of noise, and the image is a little bit greenish. So Bright Cinema is the setting I was using. We have natural, cinema, and with cinema you can hear the projector change mode. This will also cap the maximum brightness output, so you will get a darker image with this setting. The same goes for digital cinema. I don't have a calibrator for this, so I can't give you exact numbers, but you can clearly see that it is way darker than with the Bright Cinema setting, for example. Auto iris high speed, you can set it to normal or off if you are experiencing problems with the automatic light adjustment. And I use it on high speed and don't see any problems with that. Settings. Of course, this projector has Keystone. If you somehow manage to install it and it isn't perfectly aligned horizontally with the projection screens, you will have to change the left or the right side, depending on how it is installed. You can correct that with Keystone. I'm not a big fan of that, and as you can see, I did a pretty good job, if I can say so myself, mounting this projector to the ceiling. I don't have to use Keystone and the picture is perfectly in center with the projection screen. Then we have HDMI link, and this is basically the CEC option I was talking about. Lock settings: if you don't want your children to be messing with your settings, you can adjust it here. You can set lens lock to on and it will stay on that position. It's not adjustable anymore. Child lock, same thing. Control panel lock, so they can't mess with your settings. A user button. So with this you can set a fast preset to the user button on the remote control. For example, if you press it, it goes to find fast setting, or to the 3D display, the power consumption option, info on the display. Let me demonstrate this. I set it to info. We go back and we go back. Yes, and now if I press the user button on the remote control, I'm going straight to the projector information. And you can see lamp hours, 194 hours. Yeah, I like to watch movies. Let's go back to where we were. And that was the user button. We also have memory. This memory option is quite interesting. I'm not going to demonstrate it because I have it perfectly aligned now. But if you want to switch between 16:9 or 21:9 aspect ratios, you can save the presets here. And let's save the lens position now. Override it, and now it is set to a memory 1. If I create a new preset with, for example, a 21:9 aspect ratio, so a more cinematic experience, then I can easily switch between 1 or 2, so 16:9 and 21:9 aspect ratio. That's quite handy that option is available, so you don't have to fiddle around with the controls if you want to go back to the previous position. You can easily save it there. Let's go to extended home screen. Well, the home screen display is what I showed you before. It's just the menu selection of the inputs, the settings, custom functions, iris. Display itself, menu position in the center or to the left, right. You can adjust it there as well. Messages on, speaks for itself. Display background, startup screen, all that kind of stuff. Panel alignment, and with these settings you can adjust the color convergence, so you can adjust red, green or blue of the projected image onto the projection screen. The projector must be on for at least 15 minutes. Well, I haven't played with these settings, but you can find it here. If we go back, we have the projection orientation. I have mounted it to the ceiling, so therefore I choose this. If I set it to front, then it will flip the image because it's thinking that it's standing on a table, for example. Rear projects it from the rear onto the projection screen. You can choose it here as well. So the camera got overheated. It's something that can happen as well. So if we go to extended, and we also have the operation settings. We can see direct power on, so when you connect it to power, it will automatically power on. Sleep mode, I've set this to on and on 20 minutes. So if it doesn't receive a signal for 20 minutes, it will automatically power off. Illumination, that's for the LEDs on the projector itself. And you can set it off, you can set it on. They don't really bother me. Trigger out, I don't have a motorized projection screen, so I don't use this function. And high altitude mode, I'm not in the mountains, so I'm not using this. So with those settings out of the way, we have network. If you have a wireless network adapter for this projector, you can set the settings here as well. Also not using the wired Ethernet connection. But if you would like some more information about this and seeing this tested, please let me know in the comment section and I will see what I can do for you. Information. Projector info, as we saw before, we have 194 hours on the lamp at this moment, and the software version as well. So let's power on the NVIDIA Shield and see what other options we have. And here we have the NVIDIA Shield, the main display. So as you saw, I already had 194 hours on this lamp. Most of them were on Eco. Until I got very annoyed with the flickering, and therefore I set it to medium. You could also see it in displays like this, on this screen. So first we go to the color mode, and now it's set to cinema. We're going to set it to bright cinema, Normally I watch my movies on this setting. It's a little bit more vivid. Of course you get a little less contrast with the blinds closed. It's very doable even on midday. So I'm quite pleased with the lumens of this projector, and of course the contrast ratio that comes with that. We can also change the color temperature. At this moment I've set it to 5. You can see that the image gets a little bit more yellow, very yellow. 5 for me is the sweet spot, otherwise it will get a cool image. Skin tone, same goes for that. You can play with these settings as well, and you can make minor adjustments to that, or you can manually adjust everything. I'm not touching this because I don't really have the experience to get a decent calibration with this at all. So I only use the quick presets for that. Image enhancement. You can set it to off, and you will see it's not that crisp anymore. Now it will do nothing about the image, so it's not manipulating the image. If you set this to 5, then it's overdoing it. You can see the white outline on the thumbnails. I hope it comes through the camera. So 3 for me is the best option. I also use the image optimization of the NVIDIA Shield. I have the Pro version of that, which does that perfectly for me. Also on a medium setting, so I don't get strange artifacts within the picture. Super resolution, here you can also adjust the sharpness of the image. The same goes for the detail enhancement. We also have the advanced settings. Here you can manually set the gamma levels. As you can see here, this will just give you a picture that's more dim than this one will give you a brighter picture. I'll set it to 0 for now. And RGB, same with that, brightness, saturation and hue, also all on default levels. And for me that's working fine. And the Epson super wide function, well, if you set it to off, it's actually brighter than when you set it to on. Yeah, okay. Power consumption medium and auto iris high speed, already talked about that. So if we now go to the lens settings, you can see I have a lock in the upper right, and that's because we locked the changes that can be made for this setting. So we have to unlock this if we want to change something about that. Settings, go back to lock settings, and we go lens lock. We say off, and now we can access the lens menu. Here you can adjust focus. I'm not doing that because I have calibrated it now. You can adjust the image so you will get a perfect clear picture on your projection screen. If you press it again, you can adjust the zoom so you can fit it into your projection screen, the viewable size of that. Lens shift, you can move around with the lens horizontally and vertically. So if it's not perfectly in the center of your projection screen, you can manually adjust it so it will also fit into onto the viewable size of your projection screen. Last but not least, we have an option to calibrate the crispness of the projected image, and for that we can use the pattern button on the remote control, and it will launch you straight into a test pattern on which you can calibrate the projector manually to fit in your projection, your viewable size of the projection screen you are using, and get the best possible image. So with the settings out of the way, I'm going to show you this video. The Costa Rica, I used it on the TK800M as well, just to give you an idea of the quality of this projector. Now bear in mind, this isn't a 4K camera, it's just about the image quality overall, just to give you an idea, and hopefully it will come through in this video. So that was a quick walkthrough of the Epson TW7400. Now this projector has been on the market since 2018 if I'm not mistaken, and I believe it's currently end of life. But nevertheless, it's a great movie projector, and that's what I've been using it for the last 6 months. Now, for you gamers out there, yes, you can game on this projector. You will get an average input lag of around 25-28 milliseconds. So for casual gaming, that's pretty fine. You can play some GTA, some racing games on that. You will be blown away by the image quality of the projector itself. As I mentioned, I don't use it for gaming. I have a TV with an Xbox where I can play games on. I have a gaming PC for stuff like that. So I don't do that on the projector. I only use this projector for watching TV shows, movies, a little bit of YouTube. Now, with that being said, my final conclusion for this projector is yes, it is the best projector that I have bought for myself. On the other hand, it's also the most expensive projector. Only the projector with the ceiling mount from Epson set me back for 2,100 euros, give or take. But I think that's a small price to pay if you do like watching movies like me. You have a decent setup of speakers, a projection screen and a projector, a good projector. And yeah, it's a total different experience. Now, what I don't like about this projector is the image flickering when using it on the eco setting. Eco setting will give you the best lamp life. I can't stand it watching a movie and then have a flickering in the image, especially with the brightest scenes. That's really annoying. So that's something that I don't like. Then we have the HDR part, and I skipped it in this video. I mean, the problem with HDR on projectors is the projector is producing a massive amount of light onto your projection screen. It won't give you the wow effect you will get with, for example, a good OLED TV with HDR. On the other hand, the color reproduction of HDR, the DCI-P3 standard, is really great, but the true lighting effects you will get with HDR just isn't there. And I don't think you will get a good HDR experience with any projector in this price segment. With that being said, I will leave the video at this. If you have any comments, suggestions, maybe some advice, please leave them down in the comment section. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!